Alright, people, it is time for Spoilers Sundays, and now I am going to spoil the entire movie, Hardcore Henry, 2016 film. And yeah, so if you did watch my spoiler-free review, you would know that there were some things that I thought didn't make sense or kind of was all over the place in terms of the story and the plot and the story structure and all that shit. Listen, what I was really trying to say is the way Henry is brought about in this story, I didn't totally understand. Like, it's very apparent that, you know, this woman that's claiming to be his wife, you find out she's not really his wife. She's been part of this pawn, like setting up Henry to for the bad guy here, so they can see how using emotional manipulation can help their super soldiers, because in this movie they're creating super soldiers, basically. I don't know if they're soldiers, but basically people that are dead already. They're reanimating them and making them into soldiers. That's what I was talking about, the Universal Soldier thing. To me, it was kind of like the same plot going on, but that's really what's going on. And Henry is like a unique one in which, like, everybody's memory is clean, right? It's scrubbed in terms of the soldiers, but for some reason he has little traces of memory that keeps flashing up in his mind every now and then, and one of the traces is his father, played by Tim Roth, who tells him, I don't know, you're a pussy, and I don't know what he's telling him. He's basically trying to tell him you ain't gonna never be shit unless you fight for your I don't know, for your rights or something like that. I don't know what the hell is going on, but that's basically how Tim Roth comes into the picture. He's Henry's father, and Henry keeps getting flashbacks of his father throughout the movie. That's like one of the memories that for some reason they can't scrub out. So yeah, that's part of what's going on here in terms of the plot. And like I said in my spoiler-free review, when I talked about there was a character that kept dying and reappearing and dying and reappearing, I was talking about Shawty Copeland. His character is a guy named Jimmy, and he's sort of helping Henry trying to figure this whole thing out. He's helping Henry trying to get to his alleged wife so he can save her and blah blah blah. And what was happening was, at first I was like, because the first time you see Shawty Copeland, you know, he's in a scene, he's helping Henry, and then he's in a car and they're driving off, and all you hear is pat pat pat, somebody shooting from the back of their car, and of another car that's in the back of them, and one shot just hits Shawty Copeland in the head, and his fucking head explodes, and just brains all over the damn fucking wheel and everything. So I was like, okay, he's dead. I don't understand why they built him up. Like, people were saying that he had such a great performance in this film. I was like, okay, I'm confused because he's dead. He's clearly dead. But then he would show up again, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, how did he come back? And then what you figure out towards the end is that Shawty Copeland, he's like this paraplegic, and he's this mad scientist paraplegic, and he made a whole bunch of avatars of himself, and basically he has this device that comes over his head. It's kind of like the movie Avatar, and he can, you know, take the form of another person's body, but the person always looks like him, Jimmy, hence the name. So he could be in multiple places at times, and you know, his avatar can die, but he won't die because he's you know, he's in the thing, and he's a paraplegic, and it's kind of like a, you know, Professor X moment going on in the movie. And speaking of a Professor X moment going on in the movie, remember when I talked about how I didn't understand this bad guy, you know, and his powers that he had? This motherfucker had mutant powers. Like, he can levitate stuff. He can throw stuff into the ground. He can pick up people with just his hands and his mind and levitate them somewhere. And the movie doesn't explain this at all. Not at all. You are. I know you're waiting at the end of the movie for an explanation of this bad guy, this albino looking dude. They don't even try. They don't even try. They don't even try. I never see a movie that didn't even try like this. They didn't try at all. Don't look for a reason behind the fact that he can levitate people up in the ground and he can throw them in the floor and he can do this and he can do that. Don't look for a reason. They will not explain this this bad guy at all. So just live with it. If you can live with it, you have fun. If you can't, you're gonna have a miserable time trying to figure this out. Now, yeah, that's pretty much all that's going on in the film. Like I said, it's shot in the first person perspective. The fights are just incredible. I mean, it is such a video game. This movie is a video game. Whoever directs, or whoever's in charge, I should say, of producing the Grand Theft Auto movie should probably holler at this director right here, because he pulled it off. He pulled off what might be necessary to make a good Grand Theft Auto movie. I mean, there's so much video game shit in this movie, even to the point where, like I said, Henry doesn't talk. So all the talking really has to do with Shawty Copeland trying to explain to him some shit. I mean, Shawty's like, you gotta meet Jimmy over here, and you have to pick up this thing from this guy, and you have to get this thing from this guy. All right, ready? Break! It's like, and then the mission, that's the mission. He goes up, and then he finds another Jimmy, and he's like, okay, now you have to get this guy and take this thing out of this guy, put it in you, and then you have to go to this place. All right, ready? Break! And that's how the whole movie is. It's just one big action orgy fest, man, of just missions and missions and missions, and we get to like the final boss battle. But before that final boss battle, we get to actually Henry fighting a whole bunch of dudes, dressed in like the same clothes, and the fight is I thought it was really good, and even to the point where, like I said, it's all a video game. My man, he's getting beat up by all these guys. He's about 50, 70 guys. My man takes out, I don't know how he got this, but he takes out 2 adrenaline needles. He sticks himself with it, and then he just starts going off on these guys, man. It was hilarious, man. I swear, I thought it was really funny. I was like, wow, this is officially a video game movie now with that scene. Like I said, a lot of this stuff is impressive. They're using like a GoPro camera, and they got this guy. I don't know who the stunt guy is in this movie, but he's just, like I said, he's doing parkour, and you can see everything. I wrote this in one of my reviews about this movie. This must have been whoever the cinematographer was in this movie, this must have been the easiest paycheck he ever got in his life, because honestly, what was he doing? Like, there was nothing to be done in terms of like setting up a shot, and I don't know, maybe there was. I don't know. I just didn't see it, because I'm like, everything is shot on this GoPro thing. You can tell, like, there's no nothing going on. I mean, there's no crane using, like, there's nothing. I don't know. There's no establishing shots of the shit. All the establishing shots are just basically Henry looking at shit from a distance, and that's it. Yeah, overall, I enjoyed the film. I liked the film a lot. I think people who are really into video games would really appreciate this movie, and people into hardcore violence would really appreciate this shit too. Anybody else though, I think probably will have a problem. Some people I've heard complain about some motion sicknesses. I didn't have that problem, you know, but I can see how it can affect some people. Some people had that same problem with Cloverfield, you know, back in the day. So if you're one of those people, I don't think this is for you. If you don't like extreme violence, I don't think this is for you. Some people said that there's misogynistic overtones in the film. I'm like, you know what? I have to kind of disagree with that. To me, misogynistic stuff only exists in movies when you're talking into the perspective of certain individuals. Like, the bad guys in films can be misogynistic because they're bad guys. That makes sense. I never heard a bad guy saying, "Oh no, I'm not gonna do that because that's misogynistic." No, they're bad guys. They say, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna do that." Yeah, it's misogynistic. You know what I mean? But if it was a good guy doing misogynistic stuff, then it doesn't make sense to me. And, you know, that's when I have a problem with the whole misogynistic stuff. But anyway, it is what it is, man. I'm basically trying to say there's titties in the movie. If you want to see that. But yeah, Hardcore Henry, I enjoyed it. You should check it out, I think, when you get a chance. Or, you know, if you're not into it, hey, what can I say? Alright, I'm Kay, and I'm out. And remember, like, subscribe to the channel. Alright, peace.